In January 8th, 2011, Jared Loughner took off for a shopping mall in Tucson, Arizona, to kill Gabrielle Giffords and some other people. He managed to seriously wound Gabrielle and a few others and kill 6 people. This was all done in 15 seconds. Now, this poem is a persona poem written in the voice of Jared Loughner. It's called 15 Seconds. 15 seconds. Going to the crime scene. The Glock was my clock. No, I was going to the mall to shop. It was 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. 10 on all the clocks. It might have been January or June, but it was 10, definitely 10. Somersault hummed, not my fault. Pell argued with Mel, but it was definitely 10. Fingers sighed, dead ringer. Bell rang, white sail. Flag the cab and go. Shop, bottom to top. Put on my socks, go, it was 10. MySpace tweeted the Jesus Manifesto. Samson whispered to Delilah, what if? Muslim Bible crooned blood libel. Glock crooned load and lock. I was wired to fog, 10, no turning back. But need a 20, need to break a 20 for the cab. The cab was nervous, but not me. I was Pima County, I was NASCAR, I was Isaiah. Better than a blowjob in the afternoon. I was an object on the scene. Don't ask why they fell. Go to work, whispered Glock. Go to work, whispered clock. It was 10. I went to work. The next poem is called Oh Little Unimportant Man. Now this might be how the 1% look upon the 99%. There's a phrase in the poem called A Ghost Before Breakfast, which is the name of an avant-garde film made in the 1920s, I believe. In German it's called Vor Mittag Spuk. Oh little unimportant man, a ghost before breakfast, a light bulb, an electric fan. You are first, you are vast. Vor Mittag Spuk, a lightning bug. You pass the abysmal zone, a flash, a crease, a tug. Excuse yourself. You must atone. You must bow down and kiss the toe of the woman with a hat. None will prick, none will know the meaning of all that. Those up high, cash in gear, want something else, not you. Don't be skittish, disappear. What else is there to do? Now this poem began with something I saw on East 4th and Avenue B, and it escalated into this poem. The title is Must It Be? It Must Be. A sparrow pecking pizza, East 4th and Avenue B, glint of spite, the fallen ash, half-eaten man, the rancid sea. The park that was, the bus that is, the floating eye, what was, will be, must it be, it must be. The eaten man eats, the sparrow pecks, a bloody speck, a sigh that flies, a flea replies, what was, will be, must it be, it must be. A bird that praised the eaten man, our God that plans, split 1 to 3, the flea that floats to seas remote. Must it be? It must be. The pizza pecked on Avenue B, the man that was must pay a fee. The fee's an eye that passes by. Must it be? It must be. A a man, a bird, a god, a pea, a broken chord, a minor key. For floating ears, blackbird seers, must it be? It must be. Now, back in the mid-2000s, when I was visiting my mother in California, in airports, I saw men who seemed to walk a little strangely and move their arms a little strangely, and I realized they didn't have arms or legs. They were back from Iraq. The title of this poem is Lost Limbs, Back from Iraq. This is the bone, this is the cart, this is the art, improvised body part. This was the leg, where is the arm? This is the pipe that keeps the body warm. This is the furnace, this is the spark, this is the squid that squeezes light from dark. These are the flies, these the ones who guard, these are the vermin. You see, it's not so hard. This is a monk, this is a bird, this is a satchel, a sound you've never heard. These are the mute, these are the blind. This is the circle the Furies have designed. Now, the physicists have created a contraption in Europe. It's called, I think, the Hadron Collider. And the Hadron Collider seems to have helped the scientists discover the Higgs boson particle, which they think is the original particle that created the universe. They're calling it the God particle, and they're celebrating. This was in the papers a few months ago. The physicists are celebrating the Higgs boson, the God particle. So this is a poem addressing this. Higgs boson, the God particle. Higgs, Higgs, boson, yip, yip, yap, hank, boola, boola, higgledy-piggledy, bison. The physicists are quaffing champagne. Quaff, quaff, arf, arf. God is gone, lost flavor of the month, century, millennium. God is gone, and Plato and Aristotle and Kant. Never say can't when you can. Poof, Houdini, gone, abracadabra hop. Oh genius, oh PhD, oh theses, oh scat, scatological. You've spent billions, trillions, gazillions on the Hades collider. Now celebrate, quaff your champagne, God is gone. Wow, wowie kazowie. But let me ask you one simpleton question. Ce n'est pas difficile, una pregunta. You are physicists, you study the physical. You are not metaphysicalists, the study of beyond the physical. So how has the Higgs boson, the particle, the physical, replaced God, or God, the metaphysical? Oh, Harvard, Yale, Bula Bula, Princeton, MIT, PhDs, meta PhDs. Take me back to Physics 101, Metaphysics 101, and explain how the atom, the quark, the quirk, the Higgs boson, the physical, has replaced, oh, I'm such a simple Simon. How has the Higgs boson, the physical, replaced the metaphysical? Oh, meta PhDs. Now, this is another incident that happened similar to Jared Loughner's rampage in Arizona. This happened in a theater in Aurora, Colorado. James E. Holmes stood up at the inauguration of the movie The Dark Knight Rises, a new film about Batman, is it? And he shot a whole bunch of people. It seems as though guns are a great preoccupation here with the NRA, especially automatic weapons. So this is a poem about this incident. It's called The Dark Night Rises. And I name him James Evermore. I don't know if that's his real middle name, but it sounds like Nevermore, a poem by Poe. James Evermore Holmes, H-O-M-E-S, I spelled it. The Dark Night Rises. James Evermore Holmes, Friday, July 20th, 2012. Jumped to the stage, Century 16 Multiplex, Aurora, Colorado, midnight. As the latest sequence, the Batman franchise, The Dark Knight Rises, was about to begin. Dressed in black commando-style outfit, gas mask, he strode into the theater, tossed gas-spewing grenades, packed auditorium, opened fire. Mr. Holmes was able to order over the internet from websites Tactical Gear and Grim Reaper, 30,000 rounds of handgun ammunition, 20,000 shells for a 12-gauge shotgun, 69 hand grenades, 12 sticks of dynamite, 3 machine guns, 1 Predator drone, legally, pretty much like ordering a book from Amazon. Robert Killer Bob Hickenlooper, governor of Colorado, stated, "The right to choose was sacred, embedded in the Constitution by the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. Mr. Evermore Holmes would have built a bomb or some other lethal device if he had not been able to order said weapons over the internet." When asked to comment re-security measures at airports, Mr. Hickenlooper stated, "Inspecting everyone's shoes before boarding planes is absolutely critical, a no-brainer actually, as once upon a time there was a shoe bomber, and we got him." Regarding the confiscation of all liquids and tubes of toothpaste from airline passengers, he stated, "Once upon a time someone, perhaps a member of a sleeper cell, planned to bring dangerous liquids aboard a plane. Mothers with milk bottles are particularly suspicious, as extremists and insurgents are very crafty, disguising evil intentions. Regarding the ban on toothpaste, especially Arm & Hammer, very potent, and Listerine, he stated, the threat of halitosis on flights was a small price to pay to protect our passengers and their sacred right to choose to fly from sea to shining sea." Now this poem is about Rick Santorum. He was one of the nominees, possibly to become the Republican president. Eventually he lost to Mitt Romney and some others, and he passed on, maybe to return 4 years from now. This is called Rick Santorum Passes Temporarily, after the song Nature Boy, and I will try to sing this poem. Rick Santorum Passes Temporarily. There was a pope, a very fine enchanted pope. His name is known to all. He cast a pall. It's not Ron Paul at all. He is a ricky-tacky, ticky Rick. He does his sanctimony shtick. He pulls his trick, first slow, then quick, so slick. He is a Rick, Santorum is his name. Sanctus Santorum is his game, so full of holes, he changes roles, his game. He is a pope, he does a holy rope-a-dope. He lassos gays and tells them nope. Must learn to cope, to rearrange, for shame. But Rick is gone. He flagged the cab on Easter morn, disappeared into the corn. He pulled his trick, first slow, then quick, forlorn. But he will rise, 4 years from now he will arise, in terra gloria chastise. Feed us, God, feed us, Lord, our God. Now this is a poem. It relates to Dick Cheney went quail hunting a few years ago and instead shot his lawyer. Now, quail hunting today is not quite a sport. You go to a farm where they raise quails and they put the quails, send the quails up, and you take buckshot and you shoot as many as possible. This is, I would call this genocide of the quails. Now, in 1890s, Chekhov went quail hunting, and he wrote a letter about this experience, and I put this letter that I read into the form of a poem. He wrote this to his friend Savorin on April 8th, 1892. Now, in those days, you just had a single gun and you tried to kill a single quail. But this, you might say this poem is written from the point of view of the quail. How does a quail feel about this? Hunting quail, after Anton Chekhov. Levitan, the painter, and I went out to the prairie, searching the coverts for the jaunty crest of the woodcock. Not the bobolink or bobwhite did we see, but the woodcock in its audacious beauty. A mist enveloped the marsh, and the leaves barely flooded in the breeze. Levitan stood like a statue in the breeze, his eyes scanning the trees and bushes of the prairie. He suddenly raised his rifle and fired at the woodcock, and the bird, wounded in the wing, fell to the earth in all its beauty. Its magnificent plumage spread wide amid the fallen leaves, stared up at us in wonder, feathers fluttering in the breeze. Levitan closed his eyes and begged me, please smash its head in with the rifle. I couldn't, bending in the breeze, staring at the bird who kept looking on in wonder, its beauty drawn back into the earth, the dark earth of the prairie. And then the two of us went home to dine, leaving the woodcock staring up in wonder at the stars amid the black leaves. I'll just read two more poems. This is called The Way of Fire. It's a part of a series. I've written a poem called The Way of Earth, The Way of Water, The Way of Air, The Way of Fire, and also The Way of Time, The Way of Sleep, The Way of Names, and so on. This is The Way of Fire. Now, Saul was on his way to Damascus and was struck by the light of revelation. He changed his name to Paul and became one of the founders of the Christian religion. This is called The Way of Fire. The way of fire. Before the flood, there is fire. End of days, there is fire. Life begins in fire, ends in fire. Life is fire. Flows through vein, root of trees, drop of rain, dying leaves. Poet's eyes, tongue of babe, speaks the blue and green of blaze. Eons rise, eons fall, gleam the furies in flaming Saul. He was Saul, branded Paul, on the road, fiery call. The dot of world whistles white, streaking past the dying night. Fire of love, fire of death, scorches lung, the infant's breath. Life begins in fire, ends in fire. Life is fire. And the last poem I'm going to read is called I Cannot Tell You This. Now I dedicate this to the Tea Party and spokesmen like Todd Aiken, who seem to feel that there's a difference between rape and forced rape, and that women have a secretion that they can secrete to prevent pregnancy if there's forced rape. The title of this poem is I Cannot Tell You This. I cannot tell you this. Sex slaves are the saints of this world. We chop them up. Their slivers enter the kingdom of heaven. We tell them to bow down. They bow down. Lick our boots, they lick our boots. Taste the dirt on our boots. Lick, taste, swallow, gargle, gag, spit, spit up, swallow. I cannot tell you this. Sex slaves are the saints of this world. You in the alley crouching, hiding your face. You love to watch them crawl. You love to watch them grovel. You love it when they kiss your boot. You are a capo. You are a good soldier. You are the Gestapo. You are the SS. You love to hear them oink. They are pigs. We are human. They are not human. I cannot tell you this. Sex slaves are the saints of this world. They obliterate themselves for us. We obliterate them. They goggle for us. They gag for us. They spit for us. They goggle, gaggle, spit, lick it up for us. This is our poetry. Oink is our call to prayer. We face our holy city. We kneel. We pray. They do what we tell them to do, or the paddle, the cane, the whip. We enjoy it when they squeal, when they whimper. We are human. They are not human. You who accuse your brother of betrayal, you who betray all to the myth of the crucifix, you who are asleep and awake at the same time, you love to see them grovel, you love the stink of garlic, you love the stink of urine. And you who hide behind these words, this rhetoric, your poetry, you too hide in the alley, crouch in the shadows. You too love the stink, love the spit, love the gargle, love the grovel, love the boot. I cannot tell you this. Sex slaves are the saints of this world. We chop them up. They are slivers. The slivers go through the eye of a needle. Will the slivers enter the kingdom of heaven? I wanted to thank the poets for their fantastic, passionate, powerful poetry. It's Robert Gibbons, Maria Gregorio, Ptr Kozlowski for taking this, and I want to thank Angelo Verga and Robin Hirsch for giving us the opportunity to present this poetry reading at the Cornelia Street Cafe on August 24th. 2012. And this is a reenactment of this poetry scene that unfortunately, this poetry reading, which unfortunately didn't work out on that day, but hopefully will work out on this day thanks to Ptr Kozlowski. Thank you so much.